Hi, host Eric here with host Taylor's and Nick. And we are talking about expertise and what you need to be an expert to do and say and talk about, and what you don't need to be an expert to do and say and talk about. So, one thing I've said in the past and will say again in the present is I don't think you need any expertise to talk about MBTI stuff. And I don't think that talking about MBTI stuff makes you an expert really about anything. I do feel more able to talk about MBTI than I used to be able to. I feel like I talk better about it, but I see it as that being better able to talk about something, not being an expert about something. Really, thoughts?
Nick, do you want to go first, or do I want to go first? We're going to need some sort of a buzzer system because.
All right, I'll call names. I'll be a mediator person. Taylor. Taylor.
I think that you're right, especially about conceptual things like that. There are some things, obviously, technical things that by virtue of training and practice. But other things, like MBTI, for instance, you can have a training in the world and just barely be qualified. Like a lot of lawyers. A lot of lawyers who aren't qualified to be lawyers. They just have memorized it well enough.
What about psychiatrists?
Personally, I think that they're all a bunch of fucking wingnuts. They go to school for 8 years to try to figure out what's wrong with themselves.
Typically, yeah.
All right, Nick, what do you think about expertise with MBTI?
It's a bit vague for me. I could have different points of view for different aspects of it. Are we talking not being? First of all, what do you mean by expert? Who is an expert? Is there any expert in MBTI?
An MBTI? No, not that I think of. It's not like you could say you couldn't win it. I guess this is the thing. An expert is if you could win an argument with me by saying this guy disagrees with you and he knows way more than you do about this, then that person's an expert.
Is that ever an argument though?
Sometimes.
With SJ types.
It'll win an argument with me if it's about something sciencey. So,
well, what's an expert in theories such as this? What's an expert in something similar?
I don't think this is a single thing like that. Like, for example, if I'm saying hydrogen has a weight of 7 atoms or whatever, some fucking science thing, and some other buddy says, no, this guy, I'm Carl Blah, and I work at Caltech, and I'm a professor of physics, and I say it's this, and all these people be like, okay, fine, it must be that. My bad, I was wrong.
Well, no, who's the most qualified to type somebody? I would say that person's an expert. Is there people that get trained to type people on, trained to type people?
Taylor?
By some formal institution?
There are. Taylor, thoughts?
And you can get certified in MBTI. I think Chad Gray is the only one I know who is. You can get certified in it, and then you can be a coach or a counselor, MBTI certified. And my feelings about that are kind of twofold. I think that there is value in knowing the textbook information through and through, so that you're not kind of intuiting out into contradictory territories. On the other hand, if you're certified in that way of thinking, it's locked you out. So probably ideally, I think the ideal MBTI authority would be one formally trained person and one just not formally trained person who has a lot of experience. An Eric and a John, or something like that.
Well, I think being trained formally, and then being paid to type people as a profession. If you got the right person doing those two things, I think that's probably an expert. I think that you could be an expert, Eric. I wouldn't argue that you weren't. That you are a expert in theoretical applications of MBTI, and that you can you can use it as a framework to assess things properly because you've had enough conversations. There's that hours put in thing that's real important, and you've heard enough opposing views, and you've talked to enough people that have studied enough aspects of it.
But there's no way to be an expert because there's not any way to be wrong about it, really. I mean, you can say something that's quite in contrast to the prevailing opinion, or you can say something that's less in contrast. You can say something conventional. It's in keeping with conventional opinion. But if you can make the argument, you can support any position on it. So what you really have to understand is where all the argument chains lie in the issue of MBTI, I think. Taylor?
Well, that's. Oh.
You also have to understand what like an INTP is to accurately claim that you're an INTP to a room of other people who also have some information in the same system.
All right, so there's a shared language within the system. Nick? Nick?
You able to do a face?
Close to the camera.
You able to make my face skinnier through some editing tools up in this bitch?
I think you could get your eyes skinnier. I'm funny.
Sorry, I'm creating some editing time if you want to edit it.
That's smart. That's smart.
So, I agree. Yeah, I think although it is important to spend some time typing somebody. I think it's important to be careful about prescribing a MBTI type to somebody who it's not about your ability to determine the right information to type them. It's about their inability potentially to give you the proper information to type someone. Especially with cameras on them, especially with having to answer certain questions on the spot while being recorded and while being sent to a TwFP raw. You can do it, just be careful to put some diligence into that while you're typing someone new. Because I heard,
like I sometimes tell
I'm
people,
not saying
sometimes
do it.
don't.
I'm saying that's just important to me, in my opinion.
I mean, the weird thing is, I just don't view it as that sort of thing exactly. Like,
as mattering too much if you type wrong, or
as
Eric, some people want an expert, and nobody is more convinced of your non-expertise than you.
right. I agree with that. I agree with you, but here's the thing.
Very well said. That's very well said. I got it, but
Okay, fine.
People look at you as an expert, by the way. I mean,
Okay. All right. So that's fine. But the point I'm trying to make is that it's not the sort of thing you can be an expert about. That's the whole point I'm trying to make. You're ruining my point by telling me I'm an expert. It makes me feel.
I'm sorry. I can't not. I'm not saying I'm claiming to be one, but you shall be claimed one.
Okay. Well, anyway, the thing is, here's what Damon says about that certification thing. His point is he's been certified to administer a specific test that a corporation sells to other corporations for the purposes of typing their prospective employees, I guess.
Which I'm sure had some science to go into it, and some thought, and enough thought to where it's an expert compared to somebody who isn't using a formalized structure of questioning somebody to determine the type.
It's a business structure.
But the business, it works because they can't be selling shit.
They have to say something consistent. That's where the protocol comes in. I do accept that somebody might be trained or untrained regarding administering a certain protocol. So,
well, and the creation of that protocol is important to look at too. You know, there could have been some reputable people, some intelligent people putting those questions together to create the best results for the best answers that show the most light on a certain function.
But the Myers-Briggs model doesn't even address any like back-end functions. It's kind of limited model. But regardless, that's not the point. Okay, so let's
I'm sorry if I
let's
derailed.
change from MBTI for a second to okay. So if I'm an expert, do you think that people would pay me money to type them?
If you put some effort into
I'm not
learning
going
them in to do so, yeah.
I am not going to charge people any money to type them. Okay, I'm just
Right.
asking the question because I want. Is that true? Do you think people would pay me money to type them?
Do people pay money for people to type other people?
Or people pay me money to type them?
Well, is there somebody else getting paid for that?
It would have to be a different type than you're doing already in the. It'd have to be a private, thorough thing with something that they can give them a printout.
You have to give them. You got to give them 50 minutes plus a PDF after the fact plus like a follow up email or something. Right?
Yeah, and is there somebody else already doing that?
Chad, maybe. I mean, Damon.
There's got to be people being paid to type people.
You've got to know they've got to know what they're buying beforehand, and they've got to know what tangible thing they're going to get afterwards.
And I think you could actually make good money off just the little dialogue after the fact. Tell them how it's going to apply certain places and whatnot. How to view it. Maybe do Enneagram on top of it, and then have an easy layout. You could charge $200 maybe. 100 I don't know, $100, $150.
Who's that going to appeal to?
I'm not going to do that.
It's going to appeal to people.
I am not saying you should, but you asked me if you could do that.
I know. I'm just telling myself that. My bad. I don't mean to express that onto you. I'm telling myself because you had me
saying, man. I'm a salesman.
You had me considering it there for a second.
If people will pay me $800 worth of supplements and GNC for a month's worth of products, you, sir, can sell yourself for $200 for somebody to figure out who their identity is.
I don't believe in that product. I can't sell them that. Taylor?
Why don't you believe in that product? What you don't believe in is paying what you consider exorbitant sums of money for it.
I don't believe I'm giving them something that particularly real.
That's kind of like you force-fitting your own value system onto somebody else, isn't it?
I mean, I'm not saying that is, but
that's a really good argument. That's a really general warrant, though. I mean, is that unique to this particular problem?
Well, it's already getting sold to somebody.
You figure out when you can and can't use it.
Okay. People are already buying this stuff, and most of.
Go ahead. Sorry, Nick. Go ahead.
I mean, people are already buying this. I don't think you would have to do even any selling, really, that much. I think you could get a one person a month for $200, and they would generally be happier after that fact.
Here's the thing I could do. I could put in the marketplace potentially, like with a quantity of one instance of it of private session typing session with host Eric. He'll type you. He'll Enneagram you. He'll slather some FE on you, and
oh my God, that would be great if you could sell. I swear to fucking God, I would have paid for that at least 2 Valentine's Days I can think of. If I could have just been like, here, this is what I told him to say and how I told him to say it.
All right, I could just do that. I could say, listen, if you're a guy, you could pay for me to go and preach your virtues to your woman. I just say a bunch of good things about you.
If you were a guy...
Taylor is such a nice guy. You are the luckiest girl in the world. I want to tell you that.
Well, you could do a test, a personality test on a spouse or something, a rocky marriage. Maybe she caught him cheating on her or something, and she goes and sits in front of you, and you say, "Well, he sounds like a dick," or whatever. Blah, blah, blah. You take the test, and then you have him come in, or you have him come in. You see each other, see both of them. The girl comes in, thinking the doctor's like thinking this guy's a dick. He gives her the test after he's already given the other guy the test, and he says, "You guys are a perfect match. Wow." Because it's good for you, because the problem is that you actually don't attract a whole lot of people, but your husband has a lot of the characteristics that would be perfect for you. And it says they only treat once. I mean, people do that to people.
Okay, well, look, what about this idea? I put in the marketplace that says, hour-long or private session with host Eric, and you get to choose check one box: therapy, typing plus an Enneagram, like media criticism, art advice, like I'll critique your art for you or something, just random conversation or anything else.
Graffiti.
Anything else?
A graffiti event. Go graffiti a building.
No, I'm not gonna go do shit.
You could let people. I mean, choose a place that's really close, and have a go smoke a joint with Eric's session, and you go like right next door, so they don't know your actual address, and smoke one pinner with anyone who's in Temple City.
Yeah, maybe somebody's just around sometime.
Well,
I don't know.
But see, I like the idea of it being remote, so that anybody can purchase this product potentially. And
okay, then mail them a fucking joint, and then smoke it on a private meeting session. You can each smoke your joints together. It'll be like a fucking cam girl.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean,
yeah. That's dangerous.
That could be one of the check boxes of the thing you could get if you wanted to.
That's dangerous.
Do you want to mail you a sandwich?
That is a little dangerous, mailing weed. But regardless, the point is, I like the idea of it being. I know that you guys are saying I should sell something specific, but I like the idea of it being me being basically a GTM prostitute, right? If you want me to affirm you, I'll do that. I can affirm you for a straight hour. I can just spend a whole hour asking you a couple questions and telling you how great you are at that thing. Or
stop imposing people's autonomy on them.
If I buy that from you, Eric, you can't tell anybody about it afterwards. I'll sign up.
Taylor,
I would do some heavy negotiating. I would say, okay, how much FE are we talking here?
I mean, I would probably pay you to be a backup person to call me a whole bunch on mornings when I really need to fucking wake up.
I don't want that job.
Pay for that shit for sure, but you would.
Not you. Probably not you. Like light bulb. I'd pay light bulb.
That's an interesting thing right there. You could use.
We're recording a video. Hold on, stop. We're recording a video.
That was a good idea.
Stop. All right,
sorry.
so, anyway. Okay, I want to go back to the expertise.
I wouldn't say anything, but she's more responsible than I am. Or
I know, I understand that. I just want to remind everybody that we were on video.
You could create a freelance site for your community. Hey,
what are we talking about? This video is supposed to be about expertise and shit, not about whether or not I can sell people to spend an hour with me. Which is ridiculous.
Promotional material. He'll tell you how great you are. He'll type you. He'll tell you how great you are and what's wrong with you. He'll correct your problems while making you feel good. That appeals to both the Taylors and the Coach Abe's.
You would get a lot of marriage problem. You guys come in. I will do what other marriage counselors won't do for you. I will tell you who's right about which point and who's wrong about which point. Nobody else will offer you that, marriage counselees. I will offer you that. I will tell you who's right and wrong about each point.
Then when it doesn't work, I will tell you that it's because it's your fault.
you would have a good niche market with the cat ladies who have the 9 to 5, and they're not allowed to do the water cooler gossip because those girls don't let her in. Those are actually, she's the person they're gossiping about. So she gets to call you and gossip to you about what Brooke did today, and then you tell her how pretty she looks and how much weight she's lost. And boy, you're done. Stick a fork in.
The whole business model. What we're gonna do is we're gonna start an escort service for just lonely homebodies. That's it.
That cuddle with you.
We could all be gigolos in this system here. Okay.
Sorry, we fucked up your video.
No, it's perfect. I like the idea. And then we'll have a scale, right? And we'll see who's the most popular gigolo.
Look, and you can do it whenever you want. You do it on your own time. You get a cut of the money that you make. I'm gonna set up the site. I'm gonna put you two on as people. You just work when you want to. You have to make at least, some money a week, and but then you can do it on your own time. Really, I'll pay you in crack.
That sounds like a good deal.
I mean, you can just put this thing on. You can bookmark the page, and let people know when you're online.
Crack's highly fungible.
And maybe we could even have it so that people bid. Like if there's several people wanting to put that host Eric FE in their VG, who's the highest bidder per minute?
They want a little ENT penis in them.
Julie, listen, I just want to tell you I am so glad that you won the auction. I was hoping for you, and it was you, and I'm desperate to hear about your day. Tell me.
He's the star of the stable. Like, that's some. He knows how to stroke that whatever it is, that FI.
I don't know. Some people say it's very off-putting. Actually, people who like me generally get upset when I do that. Right there. When I play around with it, they don't. Basically, they see it as you're playing around with honesty. But to me, honesty is determined by the words I'm saying, and it's obviously a joke because I mean, that's where the honesty comes in, right? Is I'm not doing it to you, not as a joke, right?
I know, but people don't like the idea that they can be so thoroughly fooled that they believe you when they believe you, and that they have to listen to the words. Really, it's the words in context. You have to know somebody well enough to put their words in the context of the situation and know that all three of us can fake sincerity, but not all four of us are likely to always.
Who else is in the room?
We have work to do. I would say I'm going to be in a lot longer, but I got work to do. That's probably not true for most of us. We're just antsy.
It's true for me. Yeah, well, it's definitely true for me. Or I feel like there's some other FE factor.
But the point is that I'm just busting your chops because you use these excuses when you don't need an excuse. I gotta go. Why? You haven't told us why, Eric. Why do you have to go? Are you working? Are you sick? Well, you don't have a dog get hit by a car. Did he just drag out a handle of vodka?
I think it's water.
Nick, was that water or vodka?
Yeah, that's water.
Damn.
I haven't drank in over a week for sure.
Are you having
8 days?
That's good. Don't listen to Taylor. That's good. Good job.
Is something going on in your life?
He's not drinking alcohol. That's a good thing.
But not everyone has resigned to the fact that they're powerless.
Taylor, listen. I'm not telling anybody else what they are. I'm just saying, in general, alcohol is not going to add a lot of positives to your life if you're recently unemployed and yada yada. Okay, so
now you've got time to drink as much as you've always wanted to.
Thanks, Taylor. That's great.
I just don't say I can't do it. I can do anything.
I didn't say you couldn't do it. Who's telling you can't do anything?
Well, it kind of sounded like you can't say anything positive about drinking while you're unemployed. Yeah, you don't have to worry about losing your fucking job.
Okay, well, I'm making the counter argument. I'm not saying you can't say anything.
Yeah, I know. I read into it a little bit because most people are saying that when they say whatever non.
Where the fuck is my McDonald's?
Oh yeah, where is your McDonald's? It's been ages.
That's fucked up.
I'm starving.
Someone's getting yelled at.
No wonder he was like off screen and sweating and stuff.
Okay.
Joshua!
That's it for this video. That was not,
Where you at, dog?
That was not what was anticipated, but it's probably pretty entertaining anyway.